What's up, y'all? So I I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. But I just wanted to come and do a sit down video with you guys because a lot has been going on, and I feel like YouTube is like my outlet. I feel like God put me on this earth for a reason. I feel like He put me on this earth to like help people. Now, a lot of people probably say, "Oh, why she's putting her business on the internet? Da 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 da. This, that, and the third." Any of these type of videos that I'm gonna be showing you guys this whole entire journey. These videos is gonna be educational purposes because at the end of the day, I don't know what parent is going through the same thing, whether you're a parent, a guardian, whatever, and you have a child that is going through the same thing. I don't know who is gonna come across my videos and pretty much pull strength from watching my videos. This is me and Nazir's journey. Um, like I said, I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start, but these videos are to help someone that's going through the same situation. These videos is gonna help someone who don't have a support system and may want to reach out to me and contact me and ask me questions. But I'm going to take you guys on this journey with me because this is going to be a long journey. Me and Nazia have been dealing with this really from the age of 2. About 1.5 to about 2 years old, we've been dealing with this. And you guys are probably wondering, like, what's really going on with Nazia? Also, I'm making this video because when the time do come, which I thought wasn't even gonna happen anytime soon, but it's actually happening sooner than later. I know I'm not gonna be up to wanting to communicate with anybody, wanting to talk to anybody, wanting to text anybody. So you guys can just watch these videos, get an understanding of what's going on. I am an ambivert. That's a combination of an introvert and an extrovert mixed in one. And I have my moments where I don't want to be bothered. I have my moments where I don't want to talk to people. I have my moments where I would not speak to nobody on the phone but my mama. So I know going through this journey is going to be like this. If you can't get in contact with me, please get in contact with my mom. And I will also say it's okay to also contact my cousin for any updates. Tasha, sorry boo for putting this on you, but me and her is close. That's like my sister. Y'all gonna see a lot of my emotions because I've been holding everything in. I've been holding everything in, and today is just a day where it just needed to be released and it just needed to come out. I'ma take you guys back from when Nazir was born. If you guys may or may not know, Nazir just celebrated her 9th birthday, August 6th. So I'm thankful to the good man upstairs that Nazir was able to see a 9th birthday. When Nazir was born, he was pretty much considered a preemie. He did have to stay under the light for a little bit. He was slight jaundice, but he did come home with me. Now, I love my island people. I love my Caribbean people, my Caribbean family. I love you guys. But this particular lady that I got from the hospital who was assigned to Nazir was his pediatrician. She was a Haitian lady. Her doctor's office was over by Central Park, so it was easy for me to leave the house, catch the bus, go through Central Park, and that first stop, her office was a block away. Anytime now, she had another black lady who was her receptionist. Now these are both elderly people. I want to say like in their early 60s, both elderly. Maybe yeah, they early 60s, 65s, maybe. Now I don't want to sound racist, but this was my experience. I noticed that anytime a white person would come into her office, she would take her time with them. She'll answer any questions. Like they would be in the room. Their visit would be anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. Me and Nazia would have our visit. It would be less than 5 minutes. She would just brush me off, or whatever the case may be. I'm a first-time mom. I don't really know the ins and outs and all that other stuff. So I really felt a certain type of way about it. I just felt like our doctor visits was always rushed. But I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just me overthinking. I'm not paying it no mind, or whatever the case may be. So now, fast forward to we like 5-6 months in of Nizia's life. Nizia is about 5-6 months or whatever. Now, Nizia used to get a lot of ear infections. Now, what this one time, Nizia really got a real bad ear infection. No, I'm moving too fast. I noticed maybe around about 4 months, about 3-4 months, Nizia started to develop this itch. As the months passed, the itching got worse. It got worse and it got worse and it got worse. To the point where Nizia is literally sitting on the floor, digging in his skin to the point where he's like breaking his skin and he's like almost bleeding. I'm like, something is wrong. At this point, he's like maybe close to 1. I would put him in a play yard and he would just scratch his face, rub his body all against the mesh of the play yard. And I didn't understand why. But it was really bad to the point where Nizia was breaking skin on his nose. So Nizia is maybe about 6-7 months old or whatever the case may be. Like I said, he would get really bad infections. And she was like, it was in the middle of dead winter. It was cold. It was snowing like crazy. Mind you, I just seen her like a week prior to get his shots, his 6-month shots. She was like, I'm telling her, I'm like, he has a real bad ear infection to the point where it's leakage coming out his ear. She's like, no, I can't send you over no prescription. You need to bring him in the office right now in order for me to give you a prescription. Just really nasty, just really rude, just disrespectful on the phone. And let's not get into the receptionist. Disrespectful. The way I was raised to always respect my elders. So honestly, I know me and my mouth, I could get real disrespectful and real nasty. So I'm like, you know what? These are my elders. I'm not going to get disrespectful, but at the same time, you're not going to disrespect me. So maybe like 1 or 2 months passed. I ended up taking Nizia to urgent care because it was maybe about 2 blocks from my house. So I ended up taking him to urgent care. They gave him some amoxicillin and it cleared up. So now, fast forward to like 2 months down the line, 2 months past, I notice his itching is getting really, 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 really extremely worse. So I mentioned it to the pediatrician, the Haitian pediatrician. She was like, oh, he just have a case of bad skin. He just have eczema, blase, blase. She wanted to prescribe him some cream and sent me on my merry way. The itching just really got too severe. And I was like, I don't like how this pediatrician is. She rushes our visits. I don't like it. I'm not getting a real good vibe from her. I have a very strong gift of discernment. I'm like, I'm not really getting a good vibe from her. So let me change his doctor. I changed his doctor. I started going to the hospital that was more closer to the house. And I changed his doctor. He was seeing a Hispanic doctor. And shout out to Dr. Fernandez. She was an amazing doctor. Sweet. Everything. So normally when there is a new patient, the doctor normally orders a lot of blood work, a lot of routine blood work. So I seen her, we did routine blood work, and she was very alarmed. She was very concerned. She's like, Elisha, these levels are extremely high. They're not supposed to be high, this, that, and the third. She was like, I'm really concerned about this. So now I'm starting to freak out a little bit because like I said, I'm a first-time mom. I really don't know, the ins and outs or whatever the case may be. So she was like, don't worry. She was like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. She was like, I want you to come back. I believe she said either between 1 or 2 weeks. She wanted me to come back, have him repeat blood work. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. That time passed. I came back. I did blood work. The levels was very elevated. Now, these levels was his bilirubin levels, his the levels, like some liver levels, some kidney levels, anything pertaining to the kidney and the liver, those levels was extremely high. So she's like, Alicia, I'm going to refer you to, now I will say this hospital, but the hospital he's going to now, I'm not going to mention the name of that hospital. But she was like, I'm going to refer you to Weill Cornell Presbyterian Hospital. She was like, this is a really good hospital, and I'm going to refer you there. You're going to see the gastrologist. So I'm like, okay. She was like, I want you to see the gastrologist, and I want you to see the nephrologist. The nephrologist is a kidney doctor. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. When I tell you, from the time I started this journey, after I changed his pediatrician, God has given me nothing but favor with doctors. He has given me nothing but favor with nurses. And I remember I seen a nephrologist doctor. Amazing doctor. She's an amazing doctor. We just recently seen her again. And she's like, Alicia, I'm very concerned because the acid in Nazia's kidneys is extremely high. So now I'm freaking out. I see the gastrologist. I'm telling him like what's going on. I'm telling him about the scratching, how much Nazia scratch, and stuff like this. So he was very concerned. He was like, okay, we're going to do ultrasounds. He's like, I want you to get an ultrasound of his abdomen. So we had to do an ultrasound of his stomach. We had to make sure intestines, kidney, liver, gallbladder, pancreas. We had to check every single thing. Then he referred me to a cardiologist. So Nazia had to do an echo. Now, trying to get a child, a baby, like one and a half, to do all of these things, an echo, an ultrasound, having to distract them, having to keep them still, it was extremely hard. It was extremely hard for them to try to get urine. It was extremely hard. But these doctors work with me. They work with me, and I had favor from God. So now the gastrologist, I never forget this man. He was an Indian man. And I would recognize this man if I ever seen this man again on the street. And he was like, I am going to recommend you to a different hospital. He's like, the hospital I am going to recommend you to is a really good, amazing hospital. They have a whole bunch of specialists, but he's like, I'm going to refer you to this hospital. Before he referred me to the hospital, he wanted me to go and get Nazir eyes checked. So now we're seeing the gastrologist, we seeing the kidney doctor, and we seeing the ophthalmologist. Now at this time, it was extremely hard to do vision, but Nazia passed vision. Everything was okay. She just wanted me to bring him back within a year. So I said, okay. The kidney doctor prescribed him some medication for the acid. And it was even a miracle with the kidney doctor. So now I get over to this doctor. The hospital, the gastrologist, the Indian doctor referred me to the hospital. I get over to this hospital, which is the liver doctor. Now I'm between hospitals. I'm between the hospital that we are now going to and Cornell. I'm in between those hospitals from seeing the kidney doctor, now the liver doctor. So now the liver doctor is doing all her routine check, and she's concerned because Nazia levels are extremely elevated. They're really high. Bilirubin levels are high. Liver levels high. Everything is high. Kidney levels high. So now she was like, okay, Alicia, I'm going to refer you to the genetics doctor to try and see what's going on. So she's asking me like all these questions, getting a history of everything. So I'm telling her. So I had my appointment with the genetic doctor. Genetic doctor, we're going through tons and tons and tons and tons of questions. They taking tons and tons and tons and tons of blood from Nigeria. I think every time we did a visit, they was taking 10 tubes, 15 tubes of blood. And Nigeria, it would take about 4 people to hold Nigeria down. Nigeria may be little, but Nigeria have the strength of 10 lions. And it took so many people to hold him down to get blood. So now, long story short, the blood work, everything, the genetic report comes back. They found a Notch 2 gene. We found out that Nigeria was a carrier for the Notch 2 gene for Alagille Syndrome. I really don't feel like going into details on what Alagille Syndrome is, because I feel like I have explained this to everybody a lot of times, and I'm just sick of repeating it. So I'm gonna put like a screenshot of what Alagille Syndrome is right here. And I didn't know like what was going on. I didn't understand why God gave me this hand He dealt me for me and my son. And it was just a lot. It was just a lot. So now we have to see all these specialists. She's telling me what the diagnosis is, how this can affect every organ in his body. So now we go from seeing the nephrologist or the liver doctor to now we're seeing the cardiologist, the neurologist, the ophthalmologist, plus whatever the 2 other doctors I already told you. So now Nigeria is seeing the cardiologist every 6 months to a year. The nephrologist every 6 months to a year. He just had to see the neurologist a few times. The liver doctor we're now seeing every 6 months. Every 6 months we seeing the liver doctor. So now, fast forward to now Nigeриa's already 2. We already got the diagnosis. Because of what he was diagnosed with, that was the cause of why he was itching so much. I also had to take him to a dermatologist to confirm, to make sure, to see if he had eczema, which he did have eczema, and he did have a very bad case of dry skin. So the liver problem, the eczema, and in a case of dry skin had a really bad effect, and that was the main reason why Nigeria was really itching a lot. His skin felt very scaly. He had like raised bumps on like the ankles part of his legs. Going back and forth to Cornell, we're seeing the nephrologist. This was the first miracle God gave me for Nigeria. I really wasn't giving Nigeria this medicine as much because Nigeria wouldn't take it. Trying to give a baby this medicine, Nigeria would not take it. He would spit it out. I would try to put in his milk, his juice, water, applesauce, yogurt. Nigeria would not eat it. So I was really not giving Nigeria this medicine. I took Nigeria to the doctor. We did blood work. We did another scan. The blood work and the scan came back. His kidney levels was completely normal. Now, a year ago, Nigeria levels was extremely high. The acid levels in his kidneys was really high. to fast forward a year later, his levels are completely normal. So that was the first. That was the first miracle God gave Nizer. Now at the age of 2, me and his doctor, his liver doctor, talked about Nizer having a liver biopsy, and I was so scared. I freaked out. I was so scared. I was nervous. I was worried. I didn't know what to do. But we kept putting it off. We kept putting it off. We kept putting it off. So now, Alagille Syndrome pretty much affects Nizer's height. That's why, because of Nizer 1 being a preemie and because his diagnosis, that's why Nizer is a little bit smaller um, for the age of 9. I didn't have people come to me and say, "Oh, he's a midget or he's a dwarf," and I had to literally explain to him like, "No, my son has like some like a type of liver disease that it affects him." Fast forward to everything. I know I'm skipping a whole lot of stuff, but I just want to get to the part I need to get to. So now, fast forward, Nizer is now 7, going on 8. Nizer now has to see the cardiologist. He has to do an echo. He has to do an EKG of his heart. Make sure his heart is okay. So we did that. Thank God everything came back fine. But Nizer did have a slight murmur, and the liver doctor told us that when we first seen her, that he did have a slight murmur, but as he get older, it will go away. We had to do MRIs. I believe Nizer did a total of maybe 3-4 MRIs. He had most of them. He had to be put asleep because Nizer do have ADHD, and he also, I did notice that he was very sensitive to sound. So